Honestly, we never anticipated or intended to make a documentary. About 4 years ago, we were contacted by a pastor in Korea who said, "Hey, come out to Korea. We want you to make a film about sex trafficking." And I said, "You know what? I didn't realize that's even an issue out there. My family is Korean, and a lot of my extended family lives there, but I never heard of anything about that." But when we went out, we just saw that this was a huge issue, that it's so pervasive in culture, and that the majority of men in Korea were paying for sex. And we said, you know what, we have to do something about it. Started as like a short 10-minute video, ended up becoming a feature-length documentary. Yeah. Exactly. That's when you turn the cameras on, right? And I think that was one of the things that we knew was so critical to this film. We could be talking about sex trafficking and talk about these brothels, but I decided that, you know what we need to do is we need to get cameras, hidden cameras, and actually go into these brothels. We need to go into these red light districts and show people, because it's easy to say, oh, there's a million people here who are victims, but when you actually start to show the brothel and the women, it starts to really change the way people see this. So you can't ignore it anymore.
What was the toughest thing about going to another country and shooting this? How do you work with that?
It's hard because I'm Korean American. I was born and raised here in America, and my Korean is okay. It's not great. And it's really tough to do interviews with people about, like, tell me about sex trafficking, tell me about the laws, tell me about all these really heavy issues. But actually what we found was that ended up being to our benefit, because we were able to kind of go in as Americans, and they kind of gave us a pass, especially in the brothels and stuff, because we would ask all these questions like, hey, how does it work here? Like, how did you end up here? And they just thought that we were curious and different from a different culture. So I think that being Korean American and speaking Korean but having a strong accent and not necessarily being one of them was also in some ways very, very helpful.
What do you want the audience to take away after they see this?
I think at the end of the day, we know that sex trafficking is an issue that exists everywhere around the world, not only in Seoul, Korea, but also in LA and New York and, everywhere. I think at the end of the day, what I want people to know and remember are the names of Crystal and Esther. That there are two individuals that they got to see a kind of a glimpse into the life of theirs, and that they represent the millions of people who are victims right now. And sometimes the problem seems too large that we can't do anything about it, so we don't do anything. But what I've seen through their stories is that one individual can make a difference, and we hope that their stories and their face and their name will stick with people.
So when you were shooting a 10-minute shot and grew to 4 or 5 hours, what did you see that really affected you that you hoped that you could prevent?
I don't think that we necessarily thought that we could prevent anything. I think more we hadn't heard of any narratives or any stories coming out of Korea that even addressed sex trafficking or prostitution. So our biggest focus was actually, what does it look like to tell an authentic story and show the truth? So that was actually our big focus. Our social media contacts? Sure. So you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Just all of it is Save My Soul. Soul being SEOUL. And this is from our production company. It's called Jubilee Media. Yeah, this is a really huge honor for us because just as a young filmmaker, this is where we've seen a lot of our mentors and our role models come out of the LA Asian Pacific Film Festival. So even 4 years ago, I remember coming to the Linsanity premiere or coming to all these other film premieres. And now to have our film premiere here is really, really exciting and just gives I think, more of a voice to our film, especially as we get ready for distribution. I'm really, really excited about that. Yeah, for most of the people who know of Jubilee, they know about our digital content. We do a lot of short films. We do a lot of short digital unscripted content. And this is our first feature-length documentary. But what we believe is that stories can change the world. And we believe that in a world that's very divided right now with the election and with race relations and all these different issues that we're seeing, that we want to be the media company that bridges people together and that inspires love. And that's everything from really fun and cute, entertaining videos online to now some hard-hitting documentaries like Save My Soul. We want to do all sorts of content like this.
What do you want your generation to know about you as that filmmaker?
I think what I'd like for folks to know about me is that I never really anticipated or intended to become a filmmaker. I studied business. This was something, honestly, I started as a hobby on the side at first. But slowly it became a craft that I was really in love with. And it's because I saw the impact that we could make. And my advice to young people always is not, hey, you have to become a filmmaker to make a difference, but find what it is that you really love doing and use that talent and your ability and your time to really, really affect change in the world, because we can really, really, we can do some incredible things, I think, if we set our mind to it. The Clinton Foundation, yeah. So right out of college, I actually worked for a consulting company called Bain & Company. But during that time, we got about a 6-month reprieve where we're allowed to go and do anything we want. And I said, you know what? I really want to spend time abroad. I want to help other people. And there's an opportunity to go to Zambia in Africa to do an HIV/AIDS study. So I was leading a team of young grad students, and we were doing a study, visiting all these different hospitals, trying to understand how HIV treatment could be more effective and more efficient. And I think what that taught me was just how big the world is and how similar we are, and how, how we can be the change.